CARMEN, directed by Benjamin Millepied, starring Melissa Barrera and Paul Mescal. So I got the chance to see this film last year at a screening with the director and the lead, Melissa Barrera. If you've seen my video on Normal People, you know that that show was a really big deal to me, and I fell in love with that show. So essentially 2022, 2023-ish, I was obviously on the hunt for all things Daisy Edgar Jones and Paul Mescal. And I came across a film called Carmen that Paul Mescal is gonna be in. Immediately, I kept my eye on it. I was excited to see what he was gonna do next. I had seen In the Heights, and I liked the movie. Didn't love it, but I fell in love with Melissa Barrera for sure. And when I saw that she was gonna be in it, I was like, oh, more reason to be excited to see this film. And then when I saw who the director was and how he's a famous dance choreographer from New York, and how he worked closely on Black Swan. He later married Natalie Portman. Rest in peace, that marriage. Yeah, I was just really excited to see the film, and it was having very limited cinema releases. It wasn't that hard to get, but I saw there was some screening tickets, and that there was gonna be a live Q&A with the lead and the director, and only about 45 minutes from my house, so no brainer. Went to this, and I had little to no expectations about the film. I didn't even know it was based off of a famous theater production of the same name, an opera production. So yeah, I had little to no expectations. I knew it followed a Mexican girl, something about a border, maybe it was gonna be a musical. And yeah, I had not much expectations, not much knowledge. Just wanted to see it for the people involved mostly. And I was really blown away by the film. I didn't leave it loving it immediately, but I think because the film, you'll know it if you've seen it and or when you've seen it, hopefully. The film is very surreal. It's very dreamlike, and I think I didn't expect that, and that's what I love the most about this film, because the film has a pretty simple, timeless plot. So this film is a reimagining of, like I said, an opera play, and it's modernized, it's reimagining. It's not, I don't know, I haven't seen the original opera, so I don't know exactly how. It's probably just a love affair and escaping something. But this movie is like a journey. It's like, it feels very much like an odyssey. And you only use that word odyssey for very specific types of stories. There's just something so epic and dramatic and emotional. This movie is epic in a lot of ways, even though it's a very intimate tale in a way also. This film has a lot of things that just make it seem so unique. Like, it's an amalgamation of different things. So Melissa Barrera, Carmen, she's escaping. It's funny, it's not even explicitly clear in the film, but I learned that in a behind the scenes clip. She's leaving her home because her mother was just murdered by cartel, and she's escaping, and her plan is to cross the border, as many Mexicans do, while she's on her personal journey dealing with grief and all that. Paul Mescal's character, Aiden, he is a Marine. He's in between tours right now to Afghanistan. He's clearly dealing with PTSD, and he just clearly doesn't want to be there. He has like a cold relationship with his sister. He doesn't really connect with friends, even a fellow veteran. He just clearly is just lost, isolated, and doesn't enjoy living really. The way they put it is that the only job in town is border patrol, and he needs to make some sort of cash while he's here at home. So he joins border patrol, and he again clearly doesn't want to be there. And while he's there, his partner is a very trigger happy racist. And as soon as he comes across Carmen and her group that are going to cross the border, or had just crossed the border, he immediately just takes one out. And he's a very hyper racist type of guy, just like all hatred and ridiculous, eccentric and loud. And so he's one of those like white hillbilly type of guys. Paul kills him. He takes him out because, well, he's a decent guy and he's not racist, and he kills him. He kills his partner, but clearly he didn't really care for him to begin with. And then the journey begins with Carmen. They run away together. I think the film has a fairly gradual progression of romance. It's not like one scene they're hostile towards each other, and the next scene it's like, oh, kind of attractive or whatever. I think the film is pretty gradual, and it does take some time till there starts to be some chemistry and, yeah, and some caring for the other person and connection. So that's the simple plot. The film is about just being on the run, escaping, and that type of romance, But what makes this film so special is everything else. Not the story isn't what's particularly special to me. It's the acting, it's the directing, it's the choreography, it's the music, it's the overall direction. It's just because the film, as I said earlier, is pretty dreamlike, it's pretty surreal, and there's a lot of expressionism in this film. Lots of symbols in this film, not to be taken literally. A lot of this film feels like a dream, feels like maybe it's not to be taken literal, and I personally love that. Therefore, you can use a lot of cinematic language, and I love that. I love when directors do that. So this is a great directorial debut for Benjamin. And as I said earlier, his background is a dance choreographer, and I think that's where this movie really shines, in the dance. This film is a musical, but there's only a couple songs where they're singing. It's mostly just expressionism, it's dancing. The dancing is great, of course, but what makes it so good is the way the camera moves with them. And I think it shows how he loves cinema because of the way he moves his camera. It's very unique, honestly. It's not just like, let's station the camera, maybe a slow pan, a slow push, I should say, and there's a dance number, and maybe follow them. But like, I feel like even in a film like La La Land that I love, I feel like sometimes the camera work is a little uninspired, which whatever, that's how musicals are. It's just kind of like follow the dancing. But I feel like this one moves and weaves in and out of the dancing. The dance just comes to life in a different way, and I think the camera work and this overall cinematography of this film is great. It's top notch, honestly. And then the score. The music is super, super great. It's haunting. The film overall has like a very haunting, dark tone to it, but it's not. I don't know. It's just again, this film is hard to describe. It's many different things. It's haunting. It's dark. It's surreal. The score also is. It's obviously epic. It's a romance epic. It's also very ethereal. It's just a very beautiful score, and it really works. And the music blends together very well, of singing and dance and all that, and then just atmospheric music. And the film, that too, the film is very atmospheric, which tend to comes with films that are more on the surrealist side. The cast, again, Melissa Barrera is amazing. She truly is a great actress. I've seen her in a couple things that I don't like the movies per se, but she is like carrying the film. So she is a great actress, and I can't wait to see more from her. She just displays so much emotion, so much range, and obviously her dance and singing capabilities just elevate her. And Paul's Paul, he's great. He does what he does great, and I'm very excited to see him in Gladiator to play as something a little different. But Paul is just amazing in this film. They have pretty good chemistry, honestly, and there's some romantic humor bits in the film that I enjoyed. But yeah, I know many people don't like musicals and they have a preconceived notion of how musicals are. This one is very different. It's not like other musicals. If you love cinema and you allow yourself to be immersed in this, you'll be thoroughly stimulated, because again, there's so much to feel from this movie because of how surreal and how much expressionism there is through the cinematic language. And it's a great story, it's a great cast, it's just all around great. And because it's so vague and surreal, it leaves you coming back. It leaves me coming back. It leaves me coming back because you don't completely understand everything, and I think that's great. I mean, I don't want to see a film and be like, well, got it, moving on, next thing. I feel like if a film is worthwhile, it will make you want to come back because you feel like there's more to it, there's more underneath, there's more to unpack. So yeah, I highly recommend this movie, and I know most people haven't seen it, so I hope you guys check it out, and let me know your thoughts on the film. Thanks for watching.